Hey, I'm Karina, and this is part 2 of our group trip to Vietnam with EF Ultimate Break. We started out in bustling Hanoi, took an overnight train to the Lao Cai region, and then we enjoyed some incredible views in Sapa, and then it was time to head back to Hanoi, but just for the evening. Our next stop was Ha Long Bay, and we got to spend the entire day on a luxury cruise. We had brunch on the boat the next morning, and then got ready for our flight to Hoi An. Our bus was a little big to fit through these tiny streets, so we had private transportation on these golf carts to our hotel. And Caroline insisted on honking the horn. After sleeping on a luxury cruise the previous night, we were all so excited to see a pool at our next hotel. The markets that sell unique souvenirs and little trinkets usually close around 9 or 10 p.m., but we had a quick walk around anyways before enjoying the rest of the evening in our hotel pool. Our first full day in Hoi An, and we were off on an early start. We took our cute little vintage golf carts back into town, but I don't think we were ready for the craziness that awaited us there. Our tour director planned a really cool experience for us this morning, and we passed a beautiful ceremony on the way there. This is Yeli Couture, considered the first tailor shop in Hoi An, where we got some clothes custom made for us and ready in 24 hours. We got to spend the morning here browsing through the different notebooks of styles they had ready, and most of our group got 2 to 3 pieces made. They told us to come back around dinner time to try on our pieces, which is just crazy to me. So we took the rest of the morning to just explore the town. This may be a little hint about our next group activity. Our first included excursion of the day was biking through the rice paddies. This scenery is just quintessential Vietnam, so stunning. Every once in a while though, we'd have to stop for some pedestrians. After that intense workout, it was time for an included lunch. The owners of the farm nearby greeted us with this beautiful welcome drink, and we were ready to experience their way of life. Here you have to earn your lunch, but honestly we had so much fun doing it.
This is how we carry everything. Yeah, my grandmother every day 10 basket.
The owner of the farm and her family were so cute the way she demonstrated all the farming techniques.
Alright, who wants to try?
Tell me why she had to sing Backstreet Boys as we were planning lemon basil. But it was all worth it once the food came to the table because these were the freshest ingredients. We took our bus back to the main town and had about an hour to explore. Listen, when I tell you this day was jam-packed, I'm not kidding. We're already on to our next excursion. But honestly, I think this was my favorite one of the trip. Our boats pulled up to this beautiful location where we'd be doing our cooking class for the evening. I think we made about 5 dishes in total, and we started with the Hoi An pancakes. They may not be the prettiest, but they were delicious. Every recipe we made is something that I would totally recreate at home. After we finished prepping the main dish, we all got to sit down to eat. So much food and a birthday celebration. After this, we were ready to knock out. Day 2 in Hoi An started out with a trip to the local fishing village. They still use old school techniques, but they are ingenious. We pulled up to this little island that had a small camp for the fishermen. It usually takes about an hour for the fish to collect in the nets, and you sit on this large platform, row this thing in, and it starts to pop up out of the water, and it's so strange. It's held up by maybe 4 different wooden posts that are just as rickety as you can imagine. But once you're done, you release it and it falls right back into the water. I mean, it works, and it was just really cool to see. Then it was time for the infamous coconut boats. Also known as basket boats or bamboo boats because of their material, they were originally created to fish in shallow waters, which they are still used for, but now they're mainly used for tourist entertainment. It started out very peaceful. You hop into these boats 2 people at a time, and they're just rowing you along and you're admiring the scenery, but there's an option to up the craziness if you're more of a daredevil. For some reason, Gangnam Style is the song of choice, and they just play it over and over and over again. But it is really fun to see how much the locals get into this. They clearly find it very entertaining. They paddled us back to shore, and we cooled off with an iced coffee before getting ready to say goodbye to Hoi An. We were headed to the Danang airport, which was about a 45-minute ride back to the city, and we had a quick pit stop at the famous dragon bridge that is known to blow fire out of its mouth on the weekends, I guess. Still cool to see, plus it's Fear of the Dragon, so we loved it. It was a quick hour flight to our next and final destination. I know this is a heavily debated topic, but there was one thing we couldn't leave Vietnam without trying. It just meant we had to cross the street to get there.
It's the scariest thing.
It seems that Vietnam's national sport is attempting to cross these streets, and we played real-life Frogger trying to get to the other side. You kind of just have to have the confidence to go for it, and the cars and scooters move around you, but it's all too close for comfort for me. Okay, listen, we had to try the McDonald's at least once just to see what it was like in Vietnam. Our fast food feast put us right to sleep last night, but I think we needed that extra time to rest to get ready for today. We started out the morning with a long bus ride to the Mekong Delta and explored the traditional and local markets that they have here. I will say this was my least favorite activity just because of all the live animals.
This is my absolute worst nightmare.
But after that hectic market tour, we were heading to a much calmer destination.
We pass around and you can see.
Our tour director sneakily picked up some durian for us to try on the way over there. The goal of this experience was to see the Mekong Delta from the locals' perspective. So we switched from our bigger boat to these 4-person canoes to enjoy the sights and sounds on water level. After this relaxing ride, we were taken back to the mainland for lunch, and it was a bit of a surprise. Starting strong with the appetizers, we had some rat to sample, and as a vegetarian, I passed, but some of my friends got to try. Then for the main course, they whipped out this entire fried fish to use as a centerpiece, and then she broke it up into like little pieces to mix with fresh greens and veggies. It was not horrible, but not my favorite thing ever. I didn't mind not eating a lot for lunch because we had something really fun in the books for this evening. Back into the city to get ready for our food tour. I believe there were 6 stops in total with one impromptu stop on this entire tour, and we tried about 10 dishes, although he told us in the beginning most people do not make it to the end. This was some kind of escargot mixed with mushrooms and pork, so I didn't get a chance to try it, but by the looks on their faces, it seemed like it was pretty good. Before this, we also started out with a delicious bowl of pho, and then we had some Vietnamese pizza that came with some unique toppings, but I think this is stop number 3. Of course, we had to try some banh mi, but I only managed to eat a half before I called it quits.
I believe this is stop number 4. Yeah, we just finished stop number 3. Moving on to stop number 4. Let's go.
Stop number 4 was almost like a savory Rice Krispie treat with different toppings, but I couldn't even keep track at this point. The walking in between definitely helped manage all the food. Our tour guide Jackson knew all the best places in the city, and he made us these little pancakes with all these fresh greens, and they were absolutely delicious. What?
Okay, turns out we were right next to our final stop, so I guess we'll have to do this.
After all those savory dishes, it was finally time for dessert, and it was amazing.
Made it to the last stop.
After a light breakfast, considering all the amazing food we had last night, we were ready for our last day in Ho Chi Minh. The morning started with a quick drive to the Reunification Palace that was built in this mid-century modern style. Then we popped right across the street to this historic but still functioning post office. Most of our group decided to spend the day at the War Tunnels experience, but we opted for something a little more chill. Right behind the post office is this little book street, and we took the time to just relax and drink some iced coffee in this heat. One thing on everyone's list when you come to Saigon is the cafe apartments, and they did not disappoint. This was the best lunch I think we had in the entire trip. The view from this building was just amazing, and I absolutely love all the greenery in this city. After lunch, we checked out some of the other shops in the building, and we ended up at this really cute place that had bath and body products, and they wouldn't let us leave without having some of their tea. But this was definitely my highlight from this day. A rooftop pool with incredible cocktails and a stunning view of the city, I'm there. We spent the rest of the afternoon just relaxing here and enjoying our last day in the city before our farewell dinner this evening. And before we knew it, it was time to say goodbye to this incredible country and this amazing group of people. If you're thinking about booking a group trip with EF Ultimate Break, I cannot recommend it enough, and I hope that you add Voyage to Vietnam to your list.